Hello there, Adam Bazalgette here, founder of SW Golf Academy. I'm at the beautiful club at Mediterra, Naples, Florida. Today, correct use of the right arm, the trail arm. If you're a left-handed golfer, it would be this. How to use it for power and accuracy. It will change your ball striking if you do it correctly. It'll help you stop hitting behind the ball as well. Drills, images, we'll look at the pros. Let's see if we can help. So there's several factors that influence where the bottom of the golf swing happens. Obviously we want it to happen in front of the ball. The biggest one though is when the shaft gets to vertical. That's the low point of the swing. Several things can influence this. Specifically, we're talking about this trail arm in this video. Let's have a quick look at the pros, pick out one or two things, then we'll get out and work on it. So Tony Finau on the right there, now he's hitting a driver there, so he'd be hitting more up on it, but it's a great look at this arm here, and the things you'd notice, as we said, his arm is in front of him. It's getting a lot straighter in this general direction, but look how the arm is turned under. It's the inside edge of that arm that's really pushing forward. As we show you a little later in the video, a lot of people would have a hard time squaring the face if they did that, but it is super powerful. Dustin Johnson, again, elbow turned more down to the hip. The inside edge of that arm is pushing hard. You can see the shaft gets beyond the golf ball there, so he's going to hit his divot more or less about here. Super, super look. Let's have a look at one more. Why not a Tiger Woods? Can't beat that. And watch that right arm get past the right hip, past the right leg, past the golf ball. But again, look how underneath the arm is and how the inside edge, the underneath of the elbow, showing the inside edge of the forearms pushing forward. Hope you'll subscribe to the channel if you like these videos. So why is this so important to get this trail arm beyond that hip and get the hands more up by the front leg? Kind of create that lead arm club relationship. Well, it's applying pressure to the golf ball's the biggest thing. You could hit a golf ball like that. You probably would thin a few, but you could hit it. You wouldn't hit it very far. Have you ever seen a professional baseball player hit the ball like that? Or a tennis player like this? Absolutely not. Grab something. I'm going to use this bucket. The bottom of your chair, the edge of the door, grab your club, go ahead and set up to this firm object without taking any swing. Engage your middle and push those hands up in front of this leg. Don't push them way forward, just up a bit so that you have this kind of an angle and this alignment here, and you see how effectively you can add pressure. And just compare that with this sort of a look, and you'll see there's a huge, huge difference in the way you'll compress the ball. Not to mention that when you hit the ball with the shaft leaning, you'll hit the ball before the ground when the club gets to vertical. Let's have a look from here. Now, one side benefit of doing this before we really work on our next drill, if you get this trail arm where the inside edge of it is straightening this way and it's moving in front of your right hip, it is pretty difficult to come over the top when you do that. Over the top is much more likely to have their right arm bent, stuck at this angle, so it's really going to help your playing as well. But there's one real pitfall, I think, that stops people from being able to do this. Let's have a look at that next, because that will set the table for really making progress. Now, as we start to really deal with how the inside of that trail arm gets forward, you will notice, hold the club up in front of you, as you push the inside of that elbow forward, the face opens a lot. So you're going to need to feel some tilt. You might have to adjust your grip accordingly. That's how the pros hit it. They de-loft it through impact there. You can really compress it when you do this. Forward pressure, and then the face has to feel tilted. I'm going to show you a drill in just a moment that's going to help you with that, but that's probably a very different feeling in the hands. You'll notice pros when they go through, you really see those knuckles under that lead forearm. That's because they're de-lofting it so much. Now, quick word before we get to our drill. Everybody's a little different. I'm pretty flexible in my right shoulder and arm. I could really get that this way. Not saying I quite get it there in my actual swing, but I'm pretty flexible, so I can afford quite a bit of that. Some people, they're just not that flexible. So, hey, get what you can reasonably and adjust the grip and face so it squares up. You'll be on the right track. So I'll give you one of my favorite drills here momentarily, but now we want to start to practice this feeling of moving the arm past the body and getting a little flow from here. You have to feel some engagement there in your core. If you don't feel it there, it's not going to be effective. So feel a little engagement, feel that arm getting in front of you like so. This sort of a feeling. Now, one of my favorite drills, and this really deals with the angle of the arm a lot. Get the club face maybe 45 degrees closed. Again, we're assuming your grip is reasonable. So I'm setting up normal grip, then closing it 45 degrees, and I'm going to hit a shot of 50, 60 yards and try to drive the inside of my arm and my weight so that the club winds up square there as we come in, as we showed you a minute ago close up. So let me feel this here. There's the closed face. Rehearse it. That's the feeling right there. You didn't see the shot there. I can tell you it was a nice little shot straight out there. That is a great way to get the sense of it. Okay, let's keep going. Another look at the pros and we'll add the final bits of flavor into it to really get it cooking here. So Ben Hogan there. Now, certainly the quality of film here isn't nearly as good, so it's hard to see a great deal of detail around impact, but you can certainly see the general picture of how beautifully he gets the hands past the ball there. Now, what I love about this swing here is he has a great blend. Watch where the club is, give or take with the left arm in the background, a great blend of the firmness through impact, but really loads the shaft coming down. I mean, that is so dynamic. So the best players have that nice flow of the lower body and a nice loading of the wrist. In other words, their wrists aren't too stiff, but as they get down in here, that's when they really firm up and apply the pressure through there. It's the perfect blend if you can get that. Now let's see if we can add a little of that flow in there. If I hold it with just my fingertips as I move forward, you'll see that's a natural sort of move. Most people are so busy thrusting their hands at the ball that doesn't show up, but we need to add a bit of that in if we're really going to take it to the top level. So fairly small scale. Let's get back to about here. That's the sort of feeling. I left that club face ever so slightly open, but I felt a good move this way. And again, you've just got to hold that club up, tilt it a little bit, put it over here so your knuckles are underneath, get that feeling, and then come back in here and see if you can offset that with that. And as a general rule, I'm going to say to you, for the right-handed golfer, in reverse for the left-handed golfer, if the ball goes hooking, goes too much left, you need to drive the inside of that right arm forward more, probably use this more. If the ball's hanging to the right, don't take the drive out, add some tilt in there. You'll start to put it together. Let's try one full scale here, see what we can do. Actually hooked it a little bit, reasonably solid though. Work on this stuff. This isn't a piece of cake, but if you're going to be a good ball striker, these are the things that are worth working on. You can do this at home and work on this pattern a little bit as well. Hang in there with it, make it part of your practice, get a good concept of it. I hope this video helps you with that.